Everyone, I'm going to read you what's supposed to take place with the three that's sworn in the for the Integrity Commission saga and PJ Patterson talking about the whatever going on in the Caribbean waters there. So you guys will hear what's going down. Thank you. Oh, three directors to be sworn in this morning. Gleaner sources have confirmed that Craig Beresford, the former Director of Information and Complaints, is to be sworn in as Executive Director. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen is expected to swear in three directors of the Integrity Commission IC this morning. Gleaner sources have confirmed that Craig Beresford, the former Director of Information and Complaints, is to be sworn in as Executive Director, while Ronald Lawrence, who acted in the position of Director of Corruption Prosecution, is to take up the post full-time. Joyce Jones Hall, the manager of declaration at the IC, is to take over the reins of the Director of Information and Complaints. The ceremony is to take place at King's House. It follows a weeks-long standoff between Sir Patrick and Chairman of the IC, retired Supreme Court Judge Carol Lawrence Besrick, over the recommendations for appointment. Earlier this month, the Gleaner reported that the IC, Jamaica's leading anti-corruption agency, had been operating without three of its top leaders for weeks, and development that threatened to significantly undermine its stability to prevent, detect, and prosecute corruption. At that time, the Commission confirmed to Sunday Gleaner that it had submitted recommendations to Allen for appointment to the DCP and Executive Director post. A reliable source who spoke on condition of autonomy had indicated that the nomination for an Executive Director was submitted on July, while the recommendation for the new DCP was made earlier. Under the Integrity Commission Act, ICA, the Commission is allowed to make temporary acting appointments for up to 3 months. According to acting DCP, was appointed on June 3, 2025, and an acting Executive Director on May 18, 2025. However, both terms had passed expiry and the law bears extensions. The previous DCP's contracts expired on March 31, 2025, the Executive Directors on March 17, and the Director of Information and Complaints on July 14. No permanent appointments were made. Last week, Sir Patrick broke his silence on the delay in making the critical appointments, saying in a statement that he had taken note to recent public commentary concerning appointments under the ICA. The Governor General said the Integrity Commission's recommendations for the position of DCP and Executive Director received in June and July 2025 departed from the long-established precedent guiding such appointments. He did not disclose what he established precedent was. The Office of the Governor General said after the IC resisted efforts to resolve the matter, the head of the state sought a formal opinion from the Attorney General's chambers to ensure that his actions were consistent with law and constitutional priority. The opinion, according to King's House, was shared with the IC, which has since his week complied with the administrative precedent. So that's it on the three person he's supposed to be sworn in. Thank you for listening.
New Jamaica, new era. We now vote, we no show us neither. Long time them a take with the 4 lane. Mark Golden at the new leader. New Jamaica, new era. When I vote in the shows neither. Long time them a take me before lean.
Good. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson has retained notable silence on Caricom's muted response to unfolding global conflicts and humanitarian crisis, once a leading voice for regional unity and international justice. Patterson has not publicly commented on the bloc's reluctance to take a firm stance on recent wars and political unrest. His silence reflects the wider quiet from Caricom, which has drawn criticism for stepping back from the strong moral position that once defined its diplomatic legacy. Dangerous and horrible. Former PM Patterson decries U.S. drone strikes on vessels in Caribbean waters, warns attacks erode idea of region as zone of peace. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson speaks at the P.J. Patterson Institute for Africa Caribbean Advocacy Scholarship sponsored by the National Commercial Bank in honor of the 90th birth anniversary at the Institute located at the University of West Indies Mona campus yesterday. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson is describing the United States U.S. drone attacks on vessels in the Caribbean waters as fundamentally dangerous and a horrible erosion of regional leaders' commitment to sovereignty in the region. Since September 2, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered military strikes on at least 5 boats in the Caribbean Sea, which has administration claims were carrying drugs to the U.S. According to the U.S. government account, the military has killed 27 people, which the most recent attack on Tuesday, which the U.S. government said killed 6 people. Patterson, who served as Jamaica's Prime Minister from 1992 to 2006, told the Gleaner the situation was not only frightening but dangerous. At our very first meeting in 1972 in Chaguaramas, the 4 independent countries, Jamaica under Michael Manley, Barbados under Errol Barrow, Guyana under Forbes Burham, and under the chairmanship of Eric Williams, then Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, declared the Caribbean to be a zone of peace. What we are witnessing is a fundamentally dangerous and horrible erosion of the firm commitment to assert our collective sovereignty in the area. It is a matter which compels the head of government in the Caribbean as a matter of the greatest urgency to be in conciliations and weak to take a common position, hopefully in affirmation of that inavoidable position. In a statement a day after the first strike, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamal Persad voiced strong support for the U.S. action. I, along with most of the country, am happy that the U.S. naval deployment is having success in their mission. The pain and suffering and cartels have inflicted on the nation is immense. I have no sympathy for traffickers, and U.S. military should kill them all violently. Wow. However, speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in late September, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley appealed for dialogue to avoid a war between the U.S. and Venezuela, while Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, described the foreign militarization of the waters near Venezuela as exceedingly troubling. The current Caricom chairman in the Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, but the regional grouping has so far not made public its position on the vexed issue. established pattern. Patterson would, however, not been drawn into forming an opinion on why Caricom has chosen to remain silent. I would rather not share my view on that. This is not a matter that permits any semblance of political division. His Holiness is the chairman of the Caricom. There is a well-established pattern by which we have dealt with such matters. Perhaps the most recent is one when we had to meet to deal with the American request for a ship rider agreement. Jamaica entered into a ship ride agreement with the Americans in 1997, which was brought into force by the passage of the Maritime Drug Trafficking Suppression Act 1998. The agreement allows U.S. vessels to pursue the search within Jamaica's waters vessels suspected on drug trafficking while mindful of the country's sovereignty. The U.S. vessels may also pursue the search Jamaican vessels, which arose suspicion in international waters. Jamaicans are among regional fisher folks who have expressed concern about the development, with fears that they become collateral damage in the ongoing conflict. Patterson says he continued onslaught. It's a clear and present danger at all maritime users and urge action from the regional body. There are rules which apply in international waters which sounds not be violated. What is taking place has worrying implications, not only in terms of the violation of international law, but it affects activities of those who operate in maritime waters, whether for fishing, cruising, or sailing. The existing situation demands the Caricom heads cannot remain silent. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has not responded to email questions on the matter sent to her office on October 7. Announcing the first of the strikes in early September, Trump said his forces had destroyed a vessel that left Venezuela and was operated by the Tren of Aragua cartel and carrying drugs bound to the U.S. The accounts have been accompanied by grainy footage, but the U.S. government has not provided evidence of the alleged drug trafficking or details about who and what was on board each ship. In case, the Colombian president said a boat hit by the U.S. was not Venezuelan but Colombian, with Colombian citizens inside, a claim which the White House denied. So that's the saga or controversy going on in the waters there. So yes, our fishermen and all and the crews and everybody are in danger now. They have to be careful because Trump doing his thing, and trust me, when that the Monday is like him no sense. So you guys, well, I don't know, we have to just pray for those who are out there and pray for this thing to stop. So that's it, guys. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.